Let me tell you a little something about the Canterbury Tales, a pilgrimage story about a knight, his son, the squire, the yeoman, and Madame Eglantine, the prioress nun. Everybody buckle in, these characters are gonna knock your socks off.
Madame Eglantine is a prioress, head of a group of nuns. However, despite her being a nun, she doesn't actually do anything related to her job. The prioress prioritizes learning courtly manners over spiritual duties, and she even has excellent table manners. She speaks French, which is a language for nobility rather than religious scholars, which is Latin. She is friendly and selfless, yet she is revealed to also be a bit secretive. She acts very oppositely of how nuns are usually expected to act. Her description is more like a courtly lady than a nun. Her size and forehead are large, yet her mouth is small and her nose is quite fine. Her clothes are well made, heavily ornamented, and expensive. She carries a unique rosary of bright coral beads instead of a plain black one. She also has a fancy brooch that says "Love conquers all" in Latin, which is very secular for a nun. Chowker thinks that the prioress is very polite, but is a bit critical of the prioress at her clinging to the feminine stereotype, love of jewelry and expensive clothes. He thinks that as a woman of God, she should not act so secular.
In the tale of the Canterbury Pilgrims, we see a character as colorful and vibrant as flowers in early spring. The character known as the squire is a young man, around 20 years old, the son of a noble knight, and destined to follow in his father's footsteps. The squire stands out in a crowd for not only his curly hair and charming personality, but for his lavish clothes. He is a man boy, a symbol of youthfulness. He's more at home creating songs and playing musical instruments rather than training on the battlefield. His talents include dancing and singing and his amazing jousting abilities. But in Squire's tale, it's not about clashing swords or the roar of a battle. Instead, he focuses on being a better person who takes care of the land and the people with loving thoughts. In Chaucer's view, the squire emerges as a character who is admired for his unique qualities. Chaucer sees the squire a reflection of youthfulness. The squire's personality shines through as he has courtesy, is well-mannered, and has a strong desire to please others. The squire's job is one to honor the noble lineage and accompanies his father and knight on the pilgrimage.
If you want a friend that is loyal to you until the very end, then try to find a person like the yeoman. The yeoman is the most faithful servant in all of the land. He is loyal to the knight like no other person in the whole wide world. He is always covered from head to toe in all green clothing, including a green hat and green shoes, just like your stereotypical Robin Hood type archer. He will carry the knight's bow, dagger, and sword so that the knight is always ready for a fight. The yeoman is also always ready to fight, but the knight is so experienced that he never gets the chance. That doesn't mean that the yeoman gets no action. The yeoman gets plenty of action when he is protecting the knight's land from outlaws while the knight is away. The yeoman shows them that he is way more than a servant to the knight, but he is a loyal friend that has some skills of his own.
The knight is the first character mentioned in the Canterbury Tales. He doesn't have a very detailed physical description, but he's said to take care of himself very well and he does not draw attention to his fairly noble status. He's very modest and an excellent fighter, as he's fought in battles all around the world, like Alexandria, Egypt, Lithuania, Prussia, and Greece. He's very subtle in his clothing, as he chooses not to draw attention to himself by wearing only a fustian tunic, which is stained from his chainmail armor. He likes to partake in jousting at festivals accompanied by his horse, which he's rumored to take care of more than himself. He's described as a perfect gentle gentle knight, which says a lot about the standard that he holds himself to. He's the leader of the vanguard, which is the collection of knights, and he hangs out around the nobility at their functions. The Chancellor clearly really likes the knight because of all the good things he has to say about him, about his humility and his status as a leader of knights.